Hi, this is Howie from Prime Your Pump, entertaining and actionable self-improvement. And this week's video is about rules for house guests, including some do's and don'ts. One time I found out I was overstaying my welcome at a friend's house when my friend's wife yelled at me for taking a shower because the maid had just cleaned the bathroom. And I'm thinking, but I didn't say it out loud, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? So before we get into the do's and don'ts, let's look at some signs, okay, that you, the guest, can look for to see if you're overstaying your welcome. So here's the first sign. Your host looks angry and disengaged whenever he or she sees you in the morning. And they may say something like, "No talking until I've had my second cup of coffee." All right. A second sign is the host starts spending more time in their bedroom and less time talking to you. A third sign is they go back to their normal routine without inviting you. Your host says that they have plans that they've had for a long time that don't involve you, so they'll see you when they get back at that night. A fourth sign, your host complains, okay, that you don't clean the bathroom after using it. For example, you left water spots on the glass shower door like, my friend's wife did, or there's toothpaste in the sink, or you didn't flush the toilet if you're a disgusting person. All right. Now let's talk about some do's and some don'ts. Let's start with the do's. Do offer to do chores such as grocery shopping, filling up the car with gas, and maybe doing some laundry, especially your sheets, okay, once, just before you leave. Do make sure, okay, that your planned visit happens at a convenient time for the host. Don't just go call the host and say, "I'm coming between such and such and such and such." Once my father did that to me, and about a week later, my wife said to me, "Boy, you're in a bad mood." And I realized it was because my father had said to me he was coming down on such and such a week in about a month. And I was so pissed off about it that I ran across the street. This is before cell phones. I picked up the phone. I called up my father, and my mother answered the phone. And I said with great agitation, "I'm really pissed off. I can't believe Daddy did that to me. I'm not his secretary. He just can't come down here whenever he wants." And my mother said, "I know exactly what you mean. He does that to me all the time, too." All right? Okay. And the last one is do make your bed and keep your room clean so when your host walks in, it looks like, it's nice and fresh. Do send a handwritten note to your guests, okay, once you get home, or you might even want to bring a gift with you. That's optional. Do make sure that you show that you're actually enjoying yourself. And do ask what you should do, okay, with the bed linen once you leave. I think this is a big one because for people who don't have help, cleaning the house, they have to now go clean the sheets, and it's a real pain in the butt. Standard practice is really to remove all the sheets, fold them, and leave them at the end of the bed. But, your house guest might actually want you to actually do the sheets and make the bed, so it's situational. You have to find out. Now let's talk about some don'ts, okay? Now remember, you're on vacation. Your host is not on vacation, okay? So you shouldn't come home and say, "Where are we going out to dinner?" You should make the plans where you're going out to dinner, or maybe you should prepare dinner. Go out and buy the ingredients and prepare dinner so your host comes home not to pressure on what to do, okay, but for relaxing for what you've done for them. Don't stay long, certainly no longer than 3 nights, because remember the old adage, friends like fish start to stink after 3 days. And personally, I know that this is true, okay? I mean, I don't think it's just me. I think it's pretty much everybody. And do not use any of your host's electronics without previously asking. The last thing in the world you want to do, okay, is to discover the porn channel that they've been going on and now they're embarrassed, or you completely screw up, their whole laptop computer system. You don't want that to happen because that's definitely a fight. Now, use it or lose it and make it actionable. When you're a house guest, look out for the signs that you may be overstaying your welcome that we just had talked about, and remember the do's and don'ts. And when to use it? Well, whenever you're someone's house guest. It's obvious. Just remember the signs and the do's and the don'ts. And what do you think? Have you ever overstayed your welcome at somebody's house? Or has somebody ever overstayed their welcome at your house? And are there any do's and don'ts that we missed? And if there are, please share them in the comments below. And before we go, okay, make sure you read our other blog posts. And if you have a friend who may like any of our blog posts, please recommend them. And lastly, if you haven't already signed up for our weekly newsletter, please do so. And remember, until next time, prime your pump.